Hi, Professor Fleetham here. I'm going to give you an overview on Lexis Plus. And to do that, I'm going to use this hypothetical. So let's say you get into the office, you open your email, and this is what you receive from your supervisor, that a client has been pulled over for running a red light, but the officer observed the barrel of a shotgun sticking out from a hoodie jacket on the rear seat, and so the officer arrested your client Barry for possession of a concealed weapon. And your supervisor wants to know whether you can assert a defense to the charge because the gun was not fully hidden from view. So here we are at Lexis Plus. Your screen may look a little different, so you need to make sure that you are on the top button here, Legal Research. So make sure that that is the one that is selected, and then you'll be here. Ignore this search bar here right in the middle because the first step of legal research is to know your jurisdiction and to search accordingly. So skip that search bar here. To search by jurisdiction, go down here to explore. If it looks like this, there's nothing there, then just click the arrow and now explore is open. You can explore by content type like cases, secondary materials, or by jurisdiction. If it's federal, you would click federal, or state is our jurisdiction. So I'm going to click state, and you find your jurisdiction, and you click it, and now it's as if we are in the Ohio room of the library. And this is how every state database is presented to us. Cases at the top, then statutes. Keep scrolling down and you will find secondary materials. Couple points here. First, so here are the top secondary sources for Ohio. You see there's quite a few to look through. There's more though. If you click here, you click all Ohio treatises, then you'll get a much larger page with even more Ohio secondary sources. However, for this research problem, there's a secondary source that is going to be helpful to us, and that's Ohio jurisprudence. A jurisprudence is a general-based secondary source, and it's available for many state jurisdictions. So if you see that in your particular jurisdiction and you don't know where to start, that is a great starting point, and that's what we're going to do today. So I open up Ohio jurisprudence, and now I can search Ohio jurisprudence. Now I could just scroll through these topics till I hit one that looks interesting and open it up, or I'm going to search by table of contents. So one way to search is by an index, but Lexis doesn't have an index, but it does have a table of contents, and I think that's second best. Here's going to be my search. Conceal exclamation point. The exclamation point is a root expander. So I have conceal exclamation point means I'm going to pull up words such as conceal, concealing, concealment, concealed. Within 10 of weapons. That means any type of the variation of conceal and weapon are going to be within 10 words of one another. And then I hit search, and here are my results. I have 3 pages of results. Down, this is what it tells me here. But let's just focus on the first page. Here we have carrying concealed generally, exemptions, no. Duty to notify law enforcement, no. So let's start here with carrying concealed weapon. And I want to, for secondary sources, I want to click the actual section, because that will drop me to the section itself, section 1460 of Ohio Jurisprudence, Criminal Law, Substantive Principles and Offenses, which appears in volume 29C of Ohio Jurisprudence. Okay, so I'm reading through. I'm going to find out this isn't helpful. So what do I need to do? What I don't want to do is go back and restart my search over again. I must be close because I'm in weapons, and in particular carrying concealed weapons. So don't abandon the search. Instead, go to table of contents. Now, if you don't see the table of contents bar here, that's okay. Just open it up. So your screen might look like this. Just open the table of contents box, and now you have the full view of the table of contents. So if we read through this, let's see if we see anything about concealed weapons. Here's carrying concealed weapons, and here's what constitutes concealment of weapon, 1464. I'm going to look at that one. So I just click it. And now I'm going to close my table of contents so I can have a clear screen. So I'm in now section 1464, so a few sections behind where I started. But when I read through this, I'm going to see that a partially concealed weapon is concealed. Absolute invisibility is not required. Okay, this is what I need. This is helpful. But because this is a secondary source, I can't quote from this, and I can't cite from this. It's not the law. But it helps me understand the law, and it points me to the law with these footnotes. So I am going to check footnote 1. It gives me 2 cases. So I'll just start with the first one, State v. Suber. So I just click it, and now it takes me to this Ohio case. I'll give you a quick overview of how the cases are laid out here in Lexis Plus. So at the top gives you the name of the case and the official reporter. So this is an Ohio case, so here's the official Ohio reporter. Gives me the jurisdiction where it comes from, the Court of Appeals of Ohio, and the date of decision, March 13, 1997. Next, it gives me all the reporters. So here's that Ohio reporter, but it's also published in the Northeast 2nd, which is a regional reporter. Look in the blue book. It'll tell you which reporter that you cite to. It then gives me the prior history and the disposition, the core terms that appear in the case, and notice 2 of them are search terms because they're highlighted. Then the case summary. So this is an overview of the case, very helpful to read to get an understanding of the case, but you cannot cite to it because it is not the opinion. Continuing on down, the head notes now. These are the rules that are presented in the case. Also, these are not part of the opinion, so you cannot cite or quote to them. And this particular one has 6 head notes. The name of the counsel in the case and the names of the judges. And now finally we get to the opinion. It tells us opinion. Okay. Let's get to that part of the opinion, though, that's helpful for us. So I'm going to scroll back to the head notes. Head note 1 and 2. Just click HN1 and it drops me into that part of the opinion, head note 1. And when I read this, I find out that a deadly weapon need not be entirely hidden to be considered concealed. Wow, looks like the case answers the question for me. It also is pointing us to the Ohio statute. So I'm going to want to pay attention to that. But if this case, if I read it a little bit further, and this is something that I want to use, before I use it though, I need to make sure that it's good law. So how do I do that is Shepard's. So you see the Shepard's box over here on the right. And it has this green symbol. Green means it's good. It's been given positive treatment. I'm going to go back to the top. That same symbol appears at the very top of the opinion. So that's kind of a shortcut for you. So it tells us we have positive treatment. Here's your Shepard's box. 10 cases are citing it, 4 positively. So I probably would want to click that to see if there are more recent cases than Suber that may even be more applicable or more helpful to me. So just because it's good, don't skip the citing decisions. check those out. You might find something even better than what you have. The other thing I want to show you about the Shepard's report is other citing sources, because when you click that, you're going to see things outside of cases being cited. For example, here's that statute. Also, secondary sources. So a way to get into secondary sources is, if you have a citation to a case, pull up that case and then look at Shepard's, and that'll take you right to applicable secondary sources. So you wouldn't have to do a secondary source search. Okay, so that is a quick overview of Shepard's. You can also get the full Shepard's document or full report by clicking that button there. And now you see the whole thing. Is there any appellate history? There's one. Citing decisions or other citing sources. Okay, so now I'm going to take us back to the case because it cited a statute. If there's an applicable statute, we can't just cite the case. So let's go back to the statute. Alright, so here's the statute. I'm going to close this so we can see the whole thing. And here's the language of the statute, and it's pretty long. Alright? But before I can cite this statute, just like a case, I have to make sure that this is good law. So how do I do that? Shepard's again. Look over to the right. Oop, there's a yellow. It says there's pending legislation. So at some point in time, the Ohio legislature may adopt a change to the statute, but apparently that hasn't happened yet. And then if I click Shepard's document, I'll be able to see the whole report, including citing decisions. So there's a warning here. There's one case that has found this statute to be unconstitutional. Well, I better find out what that is if I need to rely on this statute. So it's this Klein case. So I'm going to open up Klein to find out why Klein found the statute to be unconstitutional, and if that matters for my legal issue. But notice Klein, though, has a red warning. It says negative treatment has been indicated. So how do I know that? I mean, what does that mean? As I come over here to my box, it says that the subsequent appellant history contains some negative treatment. And so there is negative yellow there, and we keep going down, and look, it's been reversed. So maybe the case then that this Klein case, the Ohio Court of Appeals case that held it unconstitutional, it appears that then was reversed by the Ohio Supreme Court. Also, if I go to citing decisions, well, let me go back to here we go, to the box. 26 citing decisions, 10 have questioned it, 3 caution. So if by chance this case has any relevance to your problem, it looks like, one, it's been overturned. And secondly, it has been questioned by cases, but we don't know why or on what basis. And so we would have to read these cases to find that out. Okay, so that is an overview of Lexis Plus. And remember, the last step for both statutes and for cases is that you need to pay attention to shepherds. I hope this video was helpful.